Hi, I'm Michael with Misty Mountains Guiding Service, and today we're going to do another fly tying tutorial. This one is on the FNF Creeper Chenille Hellgrammite. So let's get going. This pattern really relies on one material in particular, that is FNF Creeper Chenille. We're going to be using olive today, but they have a bunch of different colors. I really like their brown or tan or whatever it is. That's really good. They have a pink. You can imagine how awesome that is. So go check them out and see what else they got. The other main thing in this pattern is the dubbing, and we're going to be using Fly Tires Dungeons crap dubbing in brownish. The beauty of it is you don't even know what's in there. It's just a conglomerate of just leftovers and bits and pieces of all of his amazing dubbings, and it just works really good for weird stuff like this. So yeah, we're gonna use that. In the vise, we've got a Gamakatsu B10S Stinger in size 1. We have brass 5.0 millimeter eyes from Wholesale Fly Company, and we are tying with GSP 100. I tied in the eyes with monofilament, 6/1000 7-inch mono or 6-pound test. I glued everything and sealed it tight with Zap-A-Gap. That does like a chemical weld, and you'd need pliers to get that to move right now. So let's go ahead and start. All right, we're gonna immediately come back this way. And we're gonna start with our chenille. We're gonna tie that in by the tip. And I'm wanting to cinch that down pretty good, not because I think it's gonna unravel, but because I wanna keep somewhat of the same profile through here, because we're gonna do a lot of tying right here for a minute. So we want our thread to come back to there. Now I'm gonna eyeball about 4 inches or so, maybe even a little less, like 3.5 inches. We're gonna twist this up in the same direction real tight to the point where we're gonna let it double over itself. And I'm kind of measuring out how much exactly I want to twist right now, to where we're gonna put it like that, and it's gonna twist over itself when I let go, is the idea. So let's start doing that. So that's about 4 inches there. And we're twisting, we're twisting. I can't help, I don't have a formula to how many times that you need to twist this. All I can tell you is keep twisting, measure it up, kind of work it into itself, and you'll know, like, it'll be tight through here whenever it's right, which this is. This is the one that I did for my blog, and I did not do it tight enough. It's actually coming loose back through here, and that's a problem. So don't do it like that. That's a bad fly. Do it like this. It's funny how you accidentally mess up a tutorial fly. It's like, tie it like this, but not exactly like this. So I tied it off there. We're good here now. Our next step is we're going to work our thread up to right behind the eyes, and then we're going to polymer the chenille up to behind the eyes and just fill out the body. So let's work it up. Throw a couple half hitches in there. And this right here is why you get a rotary vise if you get serious about fly tying. I do everything I can to work the chenille all the way back. That kind of helps with fouling. And that's why I spin this, by the way, and cord this up and let it double over itself, is if you just run a piece of the chenille straight out the back, which is what I used to do, it will inevitably foul like every other cast. It's not the end of the world. It will fish fine. It will catch fish, but it is annoying. It is noticeable in the water, and it doesn't take that much extra effort to just fix it and do this. Now, this is not a pattern that I came up with. This is a pattern that was shown to me by, I don't know if he wants named or not, but I'll name him. His name is James, and he's from the same area I am, and him and I actually fish a very special piece of water that this fly does really well on. That's where he kind of developed it at. So, yeah. All right, so we'll work our thread back here. We're going to do a dubbing loop. I'm not going to teach you how to do a dubbing loop here. I'm just going to show you that I'm doing a dubbing loop here. 2, 3. There are a lot of awesome videos that show you how to do a dubbing loop. But in short, we're just making a loop with our thread on the shank of the hook, and we're going to put materials in said loop. It is handy to have a tool like this with which to grab the loop. And it is also handy to have wax to wax the loop so that when you stick your material, your dubbing in here, it stays in there. So wax that up, and I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. I need to get my dubbing out here. I also don't have a formula for how much dubbing to use. I just pull a bunch out like this and kind of just start spreading it out into a bit of a line. And at this point, you can work your thread up here. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and do this the right way. Then we'll go there. Okay. Working our dubbing into the loop. Pull a little bit more here. There is such thing as too much. If you go too much, you'll know because it's gonna bunch up in weird places when you spin this. So less is more here. I'm not going for a super tight wind. I just want it to be wound up enough to where it's not pulling out. So that's about it. It's kind of bushy. That's going to work to our advantage here. So you can kind of work it like a somewhat of a dubbing loop here. Pull these fibers back a little bit in one direction. Go over the top, down, back around, go over the top again. We're in front of the eyes now, and here we are just trying to fill out the front of the, in front of the eyes. You can see I'm trying to preen everything back a little bit as I come through here. Good stuff. I'm gonna spin that, cord it up really good. Come over the top, 1, 2, 3. Come in front of that, 1, 2, 3. Come behind one more time, 1, 2. It's on. And I don't really, you could use like a dubbing brush or something, but I just kind of hand brush that out, make it look all natural-like. So I'm going to spin my thread again here. And that's just so that I can get a couple of kind of low profile half hitches in here. So there's 3, that'll do. You can whip finish, or what I tend to do with a fly like this is I just glue it in after a few half hitches. So you just kind of paint some Zap-A-Gap on your GSP, pull everything kind of out of the way as best you can. Let that hang. Give it like 30 seconds and it'll be good. So in those 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you how I fish these. A floating line is the way to go, I think, in most scenarios. It's a fly that doesn't sink very fast. Even with the lead eye, or the brass lead, even if you do lead eyes or even tungsten eyes, it's not going to sink very fast. The chenille's not going to allow it to. So I think it does better in areas of low flow or no flow. It does do well in moving water, but just like I said, low flow. You can strip it in fast if you want. You can strip it in slow. I think dead drifting is a pretty effective way to fish these. A lot of times what you'll find me doing is running a popper, and then I'll tie like 2 foot of tag to the back of the hook of the popper and run one of these off, doing the popper dropper technique, and for the smallmouth bass, and that can be pretty crazy effective, especially in the summertime. So we're gonna go ahead and clip this and call it a done fly. If you care about the front being white at all, you can always go in there before you super glue and hit it with a brown marker, and it's fine. But I just don't worry about it. All right, that's it. That's the FNF Creeper Chenille Hellgrammite fly. Thanks for watching.